There has been a lot of talk about Dominique Malonga this season. There has been an awful lot of talk about whether or not Dominique Malonga is going to come over to the WNBA. There has been so much talk about it because right now she was spotted in watching a EuroLeague game. She was at a EuroLeague game instead of being at training camp. So a lot of people are really kind of confused about what she's doing. What jersey I have on? I have a Lexi Hull Fever Red jersey. But when it comes to Dominique Malonga, she's coming over this year. And it's an interesting one again. Like, if you've got, say, Noelle Quinn saying she'll give an update on Malonga. The only reason Dominique Malonga would not come over is if the Storm don't want her to come over. It's as simple as that. Like, Dominique Malonga wants to come over. And also, why would she do training camp? I mean that. I genuinely mean that. Why would she show up for training camp? And I understand, again, when it comes to this, she doesn't have a visa. We saw it with Nika Mule. Nika Mule did not get her visa for like 5 games of the season. You do not understand how hard it is to get a visa for America. It is near impossible. And she could not get that. They could not start that visa process until 2 weeks ago. It takes so long to get those visas. And sorry, when I say near impossible, I don't mean near impossible as in not like can't be done, but near impossible to be done in 2 weeks. Like, that's just not happening. It's just not happening. The WNBA needs the same NBA admin to get those visas. The NBA players can't get those visas either, can they? Summer League, maybe? But, like, we saw when it came to Nika Mule. Like, Nika Mule was able to show up, but she wasn't able to do any, like, team activities. Dominique Malonga has just finished her season a few days ago. Going to take time off, realistically. And if you're the Seattle Storm, the best thing you can do is, let your future superstar rest. Rest a little bit. Don't bring her over. But don't worry about getting her for training camp because, by the way, she's not insured if she does training camp as far as I'm aware. Like, she cannot be a professional athlete. She's not on a student visa. If she comes over on a holiday visa, she's allowed to do training camp. She's 100% allowed to do training camp, but the team's insurance aren't going to cover if she gets hurt. If someone else gets hurt because of her, the insurance isn't going to cover that. So there's just no point at all in Dominique Malonga not coming over. Athletes on pro teams should get an automatic visa. Doesn't work like that. Does not work like that. Especially again with the way who's the president now. It's gonna be harder for these athletes to get visas. Dominique Malonga is gonna come over, but when it comes to her getting to the WNBA and Noelle Quinn saying they're gonna get an update, she's probably gonna come over this year. However, if it turns out that she's not going to be able to get her visa until till July, they might just say leave it for this year. Take the summer off, leave it for this year. Or if it turns out that she's able to come back, she got the visa sorted in the middle of June, instead of bringing her over for, say, a week, then have her leave to go to Eurobasket, they might just say come back after Eurobasket. And I think it's the reason why there's not one overseas player. Like, Anastasia Kosu, they're still trying to sort out her visa. I don't think she's over, is she? I don't think she's over. Aisha Sivka does not have her visa sorted. She's not going to be over. And, what's her name? Juste Jacite as well. So, with Eurobasket being in June to the start of July, it is like the easiest thing that these teams can do is just say, you know what, we're gonna try sort out your visa, but don't worry about coming over until Eurobasket. Until after Eurobasket. You're gonna be leaving for Eurobasket anyway. So we're gonna sort out your visas. We'll have your visa sorted before Eurobasket. So you don't need to worry about that. But instead of you coming over for like a week, trying to integrate with the team and then having to leave, you might as well just stay over in Europe for the time being and come over when we have you for the rest of the season. So a lot of people are worried about Malonga not coming over by choice. It's probably the Storm's choice, or it's probably either the Storm's choice themselves or a visa issue. Because Dominique Malonga wants to come over. Dominique Malonga wants to come over immediately. But unfortunately, you're not able to play. You're not able to work in the United States without a valid visa. And it's extremely difficult to get an athlete visa. It is extremely difficult to get a pro athlete visa in America. No matter what league you're in. The NBA, obviously, it's probably a little bit easier because if you guys don't, again, talking a little bit, I don't know exactly what it is for the athlete's visa, but I know in a visa that I was probably about to get before the pandemic, your salary is taken into account when you're like with your visa. So obviously when NBA players making $10 million a year, that's going to be taken into account in some way for their visa. Whereas it might not, like a $60K salary. Not that it means you're not going to get a visa, but it means that it could be something. But Janelle Salone isn't a rookie, but never played in the W before. I haven't heard any issues about her not being able to play. So the difference between Janelle Salone is she was not drafted. So Janelle Salone signed with the Golden State Valkyries in, if I'm not mistaken, she signed with the Valkyries in like February during free agent. So they can start that process of getting her a visa in February instead of April the 15th. If you get me, if you understand. Like the visa will be, the visas are not guarantees, but they're as good as guarantees if it's a WNBA player. The problem is the time it takes. Whereas if they start the visa process in February, it's now May. So 100% Salone will have that visa process sorted. So she's there for training camp. She's there day one. For these other rookies overseas, the likelihood is that the visa process is going to take at least a month. And then a month into that time is when the season starts. And then also a month later, they're going to have to leave for Eurobasket anyway. So it's the choice of whether you want to bring them in the middle of May, no training camp, nothing, no integration with the team, and try to integrate them with the team as the season's going on, or do you want to, and they have to leave after like 10 games anyway, or do you want to bring them in after Eurobasket where you know they've got a full stretch for the rest of the season, where they're not in and out of the lineup. So I can see why, especially for a team like the Storm, why they might be completely happy with leaving Dominique Malonga. And you also have to take into account that Dominique Malonga is 19. If in year 5 she's going to be the exact same age, as Paige is now. Torre's with the Valkyries and she was signed last week. Has Torre played in the W before or played? How long has she been a pro player? Maybe not going through a draft. Maybe something's different. But like we saw it again with Nika Mule. There. But yeah, it is going to be an interesting one to see. But look, Dominique Malonga is almost certainly coming over this year. And if she doesn't come over this year, not the end of the world for either the Storm or herself, if we're being completely honest.